say we meet an elephant that feels different from the others, one that doesn't stomp or scream, one that's quiet, soft and subtle. It's the elephant that wraps you in fog, the one that hugs you gently and leads you away. We are talking about dissociation, a part of trauma that often goes unnoticed but affects so many of us. If you've ever felt like you were there but not really, if you've ever looked in the mirror and not quite recognized yourself, or suddenly realized you've lost time or space, this episode is for you. Episode 6. The Elephant in the Fog. Understanding Dissociation. Welcome back to Let's Talk About the Elephant. I'm Mażda, your host, and I'm so glad you are here. If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you've been walking alongside me through this journey, thank you. It means a lot. In this series, we've been exploring what trauma does to our mind, body, and sense of self. We've been using the metaphor of the elephant to make sense of our experiences, the elephant being the symbol of our trauma responses, the parts of us that show up after something painful or overwhelming has happened. You may ask, so what exactly is dissociation? It's a part of psychological response to overwhelming stress or pain. It's when our mind says, I can't handle this right now, and hits the button. We disconnect from the moment, from our feelings, from our bodies, from our memories, sometimes even from our very sense of identity. And here is the thing, dissociation exists on a spectrum. On the milder end, we've all experienced it. Daydreaming, zoning out during a boring meeting, not remembering parts of long drive. That's everyday dissociation. It's harmless. It happens to everyone. But after trauma, dissociation becomes something deeper, more frequent, more automatic, and more protective. It can feel like looking at the world through the glass, like you are there but floating somewhere above your own body, like time doesn't make sense anymore, like nothing is quite real. Or maybe you just go blank, numb, frozen. There are words for these experiences. Depersonalization. When you feel detached from yourself, like your body or your voice doesn't quite belong to you. Derealization. When the world feels unreal or far away, like a movie or a dream. And dissociative amnesia, when there are gaps in your memory, moments missing, like pages torn out of a book. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs that something inside of you is trying very, very hard to protect you from pain. The elephant in the fog. Let's return to our metaphor. As you know, in this series, we are following the story of a car accident at an intersection, a sudden, overwhelming moment. The accident represents the traumatic event, and the elephants, they are the symptoms, the trauma responses, the part of us that show up afterward, trying to protect, alert, numb, or control. Now imagine this. When the car hit us, at the exact second of impact, something strange happened. We don't fully remember it. We remember the screeching tires. We remember the car coming closer, and then blank. The next thing we remember is sitting on the pavement or hearing the ambulance. That missing moment, that's dissociation. In this split second, our brain protected us. It decided this is too much to feel right now. So it shut the door. It disconnected us from the moment to keep us safe. That's the first time the fog rolled in. And just like that, a particular elephant appeared. Not one that charged or panicked, no. This one moved slowly, gently. It wrapped its trunk around us like a hug and led us away from the scene. Not to run, but to hide, to rest, to not feel. This is the dissociation elephant. This elephant is different. We are not scared of it. In fact, we might even feel relief when it shows up. It's quiet, soft. It doesn't overwhelm us. It numbs us. It doesn't fight. It comforts us. When life becomes too loud, too sharp, too much, this elephant appears, gives us that familiar hug, and gently walks us into the fog. We follow it willingly, because somewhere deep down we believe it's safer there. And maybe in that moment it is. However, as we'll see later, staying in the fog for too long has its own consequences. Because while the fog protects us from pain, it also protects us from joy, from connection, from presence. Still, this is important. Dissociation is not a betrayal of your strength. It's not being weak or broken. It's your system doing exactly what it's meant to do, protecting you in the only way it knows how. So, the next time you feel yourself drifting, zoning out, going numb, losing time, remember, that's your elephant, wrapping you in its foggy hug, doing its best to keep you safe. The brain's survival code. Let's look at what's happening in the brain during dissociation. Because once we understand the science, it becomes clear. It's not a failure. It's a design feature. When we are in danger, our brain kicks into survival mode. Fight or fly. If those don't work or wouldn't work, the brain has one more option: freeze. And deeper than freeze, it can shut down. The nervous system pulls the plug. This is where dissociation lives. It's primal, ancient response. Imagine a gazelle caught by a lion. At some point, the gazelle's body shut down. Not because it's given up, but because it's trying to spare itself from the pain. Nature has built this escape hatch into us. In humans, it looks like the prefrontal cortex, our thinking brain, goes offline. The amygdala, the fear center, takes over. The hippocampus, which organizes memory, gets confused. Time becomes slippery. Emotions go quiet. The body becomes distant. It's like someone has dimmed the light on consciousness itself. This isn't conscious choice. It's automatic, a protective reflex. And in the moment of trauma, it can save us from unbearable psychological and physical pain. That's what happened at the intersection, remember? The moment of impact, gone. Not because we weren't there, but because we were too. When the fog stays too long. The fog, as protective as it is, isn't meant to be permanent. But for many of us who've experienced trauma, especially repeated or early trauma, the dissociation doesn't stop. It becomes a pattern, a coping strategy, a default setting. We find ourselves drifting in the middle of conversation, forgetting important details, struggling to focus, feeling emotionally numb when others expect us to feel joy or sadness, or not knowing how we got home. And this constant detach can take its toll. It can make relationships feel distant. It can make therapy feel difficult. It can make us doubt our own memories, emotions, and sense of self. And most painfully, it can make us feel broken. But we are not. We are just still walking in the fog. We befriended the elephant. We're still holding the hand or the trunk of the elephant that once saved us. But now it's time to gently start finding our way back. The healing path back. Healing doesn't mean kicking the elephant out. It means learning to say, "Thank you for protecting me, but I don't need to live in the fog anymore." The path back is slow, gentle. It requires safety, trust, and patience. Often it begins in the therapy room, where we start to notice when we dissociate and learn how to stay connected instead. We use tools called grounding techniques, simple physical actions that anchor us to the present moment. You might hold an ice cube in your hand. Put your feet flat on the floor and press them down. Say your name out loud, the date, the place. Touch something textured, stone, cloth, wood. Take 3 slow breaths and notice the air entering and leaving your body. These tiny acts rewire the nervous system. They tell the brain we are safe. You don't have to shut down anymore. And as we do this more and more, the fog begins to lift. The colors come back. The sound, sharpness, the weight in our limbs return. It's like thawing from the inside out. And the elephant? It learns to walk beside us, not ahead, no longer dragging us into the fog, but still with us in the light. A takeaway. Dissociation isn't a failure. It's a function, a brilliant ancient mechanism that carried you through what was too much to bear. But now the world may be safer, and your body is inviting you to come back, slowly, gently, breath by breath. Next time you feel yourself drift away, try not to panic. Try to greet the soft, foggy elephant with kindness. Let it know you are learning how to stay, to feel, to be here in the present. Thank you for being part of this journey, and thank you for trusting me with your time, your attention, and your heart. Let me know in the comments section What would you like to learn next? And in our next episode, we'll be exploring what it means to rebuild sense of safety after trauma, inside our bodies, in our relationships, in the space we move through. Until then, may you find small moments of clarity in the fog, and may you always know you are not broken. You are human. Take care of yourself and others, and see you in a week.